Good day, everyone, and welcome to another Vivid SIG Talk IT Operations. I want to thank everyone for attending today or listening to this in our post-production. And so the topics today is kind of interesting. We've got Micro Focus kind of giving us an update on what's happening in the OpsBridge solution, and the title is Hybrid Cloud Environments. And we've also got Streamweaver, which is going to kind of talk about third-party tools into OpsBridge. So that's our day. Again, I want to welcome everyone to our monthly SIG Talk. We have one more scheduled for the end of this year, which will be November 15th, and we'll talk about that a little later. If you want to reach out with any questions beyond what you see here in the question panel, you can go to our not Instagram, but that's how much I use these tools. We'll get to it. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Come back. Here we go. There we go. So again, we do these things every Monday. It's broken down between the ITOM segments and the ADM segments currently. If you'd like to participate in a future SIG Talk event, basically we're looking for practitioner kind of conversations, talking about best practices, tips and tricks, things that will help other members of the Vivid community. So at the end, you'll get a survey, and that will kind of guide you to if you want to put in some information about a future event. Today's SIG Talk is sponsored by Micro Focus, so we thank them for supporting us and supporting you as customers of the Micro Focus tools, and they're helping us today to put on this event. My name is Rocky Pisto. I'm currently involved with Vivid as the liaison for marketing and helping bring messages like this to you, as well as a SIG leader in the ITOM space, actually for a long time. Today's speakers, we've got a roundup of some of the Micro Focus folks. Gary Brandt, Samaya is here talking about some of the OpsBridge stuff. Carol Parks is here again talking about what they're doing with the technology. If you haven't heard any of the new updates, it's now starting to hit the market, so that it's a good time to be listening to what they have to say. And then from the Streamweaver side, we've got Nate Rich, who's got a lot of experience within the partner community, as well as customers, working with a lot of large customers, and Bob Johnson, who works for them as well, kind of guiding this process. Again, this is a live session. It's being recorded. Recordings are available to all Vivid members. So if you can't make this session today, it'll be in our on our portal where you can get access to it in the future. And again, we have a panel that kind of talks about where you can put in questions. Well, we'll try to get to some of them today. So we've got a full agenda with all the activity. But if they're not answered today, they will be in the post-production area when we send you the presentation with the questions to the answers. And here again, here is the window that kind of demonstrates where you can see the questions, or you can type in the questions. Again, you can tweet us. That's what I was looking for. You can tweet us with your questions at Vivid SIG Talk, and we'll try to get to them as well. And with that, passing it on to our first presenter at Micro Focus. I think that's Brent. I think we're switching over. You bet. So we're switching over to your presentation.
Okay, we'll get that loaded up in a second. As we do, I'll just introduce myself. Hi, everyone. This is Gary Brandt. I'm a product manager with Operation Bridge Suite at Micro Focus. Okay, hopefully everyone can see this. So we wanted to do just a quick overview of OpsBridge. Some of you are, I imagine most of you are familiar with it, but I'll just go through it to kind of acclimate everybody quickly. So OpsBridge is a suite of capabilities that are designed to automate IT ops for the digital enterprise. And there are many capabilities, and in this graphic on the screen, we try to illustrate some of those capabilities and how they come together in delivering value. Let me start with hybrid IT monitoring, which is sort of the focus of this session anyway. You know, if you're familiar with OpsBridge, you know that we have a very complete and thorough, very rich set of monitoring for traditional on-prem capabilities. And this goes back decades of experience in the monitoring space in traditionally HP, HPE, and now Micro Focus. What we have done over the past year and a half is invested quite heavily into cloud and bringing those same capabilities that monitor, not just monitoring, but doing discovery of the elements in your environment to better understand how things are related automatically, monitoring events, monitoring metrics, monitoring log data, and bringing that all in for managing your IT environment. We've taken that experience and we translated that into how best to monitor cloud environments, public cloud environments. And we also work with partners like Streamweaver to bring in third-party data, as well as offer a rich set of our own integrations to bring in to do that monitoring capability. In the cloud, we look at, we understand that customers, their solutions are not based on, they transcend different environments today. So we really treat monitoring a solution as in a hybrid way. So it brings together multiple components into one place to have that optimized monitoring environment. The second part is consolidating information. So the information that we bring into the cloud, or we bring into OpsBridge, we are built on we sort of have our own data lake, and it's built on top of Vertica. Vertica is a columnar high big data database where we use that information throughout the entire environment. With that information that we're collecting, we can apply our analytics, apply our traditional techniques to better build a solution in giving our customers the ability to optimize how they do proactive monitoring, do troubleshooting, and do proactive types of capabilities to avoid issues. And we can do that through the information that we collect in our big data database. We also recognize that monitoring is not just infrastructure, but it's also applications, and solutions that our customers have are transcend just, they're not just a technology, they're multiple technologies, including, the entire stack. So we have brought, as part of OpsBridge Suite, we have our application health capabilities. So this is our APM products. So doing monitoring such as real user monitoring or synthetic monitoring, we can bring that data in and also bring it into our data lake. And in our data lake, we can incorporate that into better views and better relationships of that full picture, so that integrated view of how applications and infrastructure work together. So that's a big part of OpsBridge Suite as well. And we also offer in OpsBridge multiple ways to consume this information through traditional reporting capabilities, such as scheduled reports and out-of-the-box reports or custom reports that customers may need and create for themselves. But we also recognize that in IT or in an organization, there are a lot of different stakeholders who look to understand how IT is affecting or enabling their business. So what we have created is something called a business value dashboard. And this is an ability to allow a CIO or a director of monitoring to better demonstrate how IT is bringing value to the business. And this is done through very creative and flexible ways to represent IT data in the context of the business and in a business service in particular. So we're going to demonstrate some of these things today. But this is sort of at a high level, some of the capabilities that deliver operations in a hybrid environment that is automated, that is driven by analytics and scales to enterprise scale based on the architectures that we deploy it. So down at the bottom, lastly, is the different components that we use, including we can deploy on physical, virtual, cloud, and also we have container-based deployments where we really abstract the underlying technology from the deployment model. So if we can move to the next slide, I'd like to give you just a quick update on some of the recent additions and changes to the latest version of OpsBridge. Okay, so I'm going to walk through some of these, and I'm going to walk through all these, but some of them we are actually going to talk about in more detail throughout the presentation, as well as demonstrate some. So first, I just want to call out, we continue to make investments in cloud. I mentioned hybrid IT is a big part of what we deliver for that complete monitoring experience and IT management of your environment. So we've made significant investments in hybrid IT around the SAP space and our platform as a service across Azure and AWS. We have also, there are many services that cloud providers, public cloud providers provide. We have delivered every quarter release, we deliver coverage, deep monitoring coverage of those services. And in our last release, we delivered Azure Data Factory and Data Lake Store as the latest sort of content packs. We call them sort of out-of-the-box content packs. And we also delivered a new capability. So while the content packs are sort of out of the box, turnkey content ready to go, some of our customers have been asking for, hey, can we have a more generic way to pick and choose which services that we want to get deeper dives into? And we listened to our customers and we delivered that in our August release. And this is a generic web service that allows you to go to allow a customer to pick and choose which services they want to monitor today from AWS, and we have plans to deliver the same generic capability with the other cloud vendors. In addition, on AWS, we also delivered DynamoDB and Beanstalk services. So I mentioned BVD, our business value dashboard. That is a very flexible way to show information especially to the non-IT consumers in the environment. In the last release, we actually created we released now templates to help users get started or to make changes in 3 easy steps. And you'll see some of the BVDs in the demos today. And then lastly, one of the things that we have, I didn't mention, but we have a very deep and rich automation capability with over 8,000 flows. But in addition to that, we have a bot that works with different chat ops products. So if your organization or if your customers' organizations are, if they embrace the collaborative type of operation management, through a chat ops tool that they use, they can integrate with a single bot that we now have in a suite rather than multiple bots. So those are just some quick updates from the last release, and now we're going to switch over and show you and go into a little more detail about some of these components. So I'm going to hand it over to Soumya.
Okay, thank you, Gary. This is Soumya Upadhyay. I'm product manager for the Operations Bridge group. I specialize in all the integrations that go into the Operations Bridge. So Gary earlier mentioned that we have over 200 plus integrations covering traditional environments, cloud environments, container environments, and so on, right? So in the last release, we released a generic collection, generic monitoring capability for AWS specifically. And this, like Gary mentioned, was a requirement that came from our customers where they said that, look, AWS by itself provides over 100 plus services. There are some services where we need out of the box content, but for the rest of the services, if we have just a way of collecting the data, and then we can massage the data as we require subsequently, right? So that's where we introduce this generic AWS monitoring, where we are now able to discover all the AWS services, collect metrics for a specific service, so you can specify which particular service you want to collect the metrics from, and you will see that in the demo. And then based on the collection that you do, you can then create specific alerting policies for the metrics that you are collecting, right? So with this, we are now able to cover all of the services that are exposed by AWS through the CloudWatch interface. And moving on, so additional to AWS, we also extended our Azure management capability. So we already have significant coverage of Azure with the load balancer, SQL Server, and storage. We extended that to the data lake store and data factory with our latest August release that we spoke about. In addition, on the AWS side as well, we added additional services where we deliver out-of-the-box content with specific templates which allow you to deploy monitoring out of the box and threshold and alert based on these out-of-the-box templates itself. So let's take a quick look at the demo of this generic AWS monitoring capability. So I have that here, and I hope you're able to see this demo here. So we'll start from the space where we actually start the configuration. So as you can see, right in the middle of this screen are the various AWS aspects that we cover. So we do have out-of-the-box templates for the top AWS services already, and as a focus of this particular demo, I will cover the AWS generic aspect over here. So now what we want to do is we want to identify a specific service within AWS that we would like to start collection from. So how do we start that? So first we need to go to the AWS site. We identify the specific namespace. So every single service that AWS offers has a predefined namespace. So we will use that namespace for our collection of metrics. So we just copy that namespace from the AWS website itself, and we can share the link of the AWS direct link, which actually lists all of these namespace. And then once we go back to the operations bridge, we need to assign this particular namespace to this generic aspect. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do right now, where we select the specific namespace. We identify which namespace we want to actually monitor. So in this case, we have selected Elastic Cache. So we key in that as an attribute for AWS namespace, and move on to the next portion of the configuration. So as you can see, in addition to the namespace, you can also configure your collection frequency. In this case, we have a collection frequency set to 5 minutes. We can also configure as a prerequisite the AWS access keys that are required to access the CloudWatch account as well. Okay. In addition to this, there are a couple of prerequisites in terms of configurations which identify specific proxy agents from which actually would be required for collecting data from AWS itself. So these the configurations for those as well can be added in into this particular generic aspect that we are collecting from. So now that we've identified the specific services that we want to collect from. So let's take a look at how that translates into the overall topology that we are seeing that we're collecting from AWS itself. Okay, so as you can see on this screen, this shows you all the various namespaces, all the services that we are collecting, monitoring from AWS, in this case, Elastic Cache, we have Workspaces, Cloud Search, OpsWorks, EFS, and so on. You can also see the underlying components within these specific services as well. So for example, in the case of Elastic Cache, you can actually see the cluster IDs or clusters that are configured within this particular service as well. So once we've already discovered what is available as a part of those particular services, so we are done with the configuration. This next step was the discovery. The discovery was automated. So now let's take a look at from a monitoring dashboard point of view, what is it that we can also visualize as a part of the operations bridge. Okay, so in this case, we have created a custom dashboard specifically for AWS, and this can be tweaked as you require. So in this particular dashboard, what we are tracking is all of the events that that we have received over a period of time and the severity of those events on the top left. On the bottom left, you can actually see the hierarchy of various services. In this case, since we are interested in Elastic Cache that we have just about configured, we can see that there is one specific event that is still unresolved from an Elastic Cache point of view. And on investigate, there has been a threshold hybrid IT demo after this slide. Carol?
Actually, I can do that? Sure. So, oops, let me share the screen. So at this point, Gary introduced the business value dashboard, and at the top of the session, and it's a way to, it's basically a presentation layer. It presents whatever's sent to it in real time. So as soon as data's sent, it's presented to the user, and it can help convey value that IT is providing to the business. You can share IT, non-IT data. And some of our customers use it to form a closer or more of a partnering relationship with the business. The dashboards themselves, historically, we've pretty much said, here's business value dashboard. It's very flexible. It's one of its strengths. You can present anything in any layout, out to any form factor. But the gotcha is you can do anything. And we found some of our users of the tool are not comfortable, they're not graphics designers. It takes time and effort sometimes for people to start from scratch. So we provided a set of what we call white label dashboards or white label templates that you can use as a starting point to then leap off from that point and have your own tailored dashboards for your environment. And it makes it much faster to produce a professional dashboard. The second thing is they support themes, which I want to show you here as well. And that makes it easier to apply a color scheme, maybe your corporate color scheme, and then just through a few, those few steps, upload and instantly use your new dashboard without much effort. So the first step here I want to go through is you need to be at Marketplace, ITOM Marketplace, to download the example white label dashboards. I've already logged in, and so the first thing you just need to do is download the example content. So let's do that. And once it's downloaded, we'll just go to that content. It's a zip file, so just open it up. And it comes with 3 Visio files, and you can just go through each one. We'll just pick the first sample dashboard to start with, but there are 3 different types of white labeled dashboard content, and each one of those, when you open it up in Visio, has a set of pages. Again, each page represents a single dashboard, potentially in Business Value Dashboard. So we have an overview, web channel, layout dashboard. In this case, we just label them retail channel. Obviously, you're going to change these to your own settings. But the idea is to have a look through them and see what most closely matches the layout and the types of widgets that you would like to display, so you don't need to create all of this from scratch. So in this case, we'll start with web channel. That's going to most closely match what I want to show. And as I mentioned, we support themes, so I may not like this default color scheme, but I can apply a different theme. And this is our, since our May release, we've provided support for themes in all of our widgets in the Visio stencil that we provide. And once you've picked a theme, one that's in Visio, one that you've created that's corporate branded, we'll apply that one. Again, you've got a choice of variants. On top of that, we'll just stick with the default variant. And again, you can then tune the accent colors. Again, they just get applied. So this is, we're essentially supporting standard Visio capabilities here. So we'll just replace the, replace the dashboard. Let me just correct it again. We'll just put in our own logo in place of the placeholder there. But you can put your image or logo or whatever you want into the diagram. Leave it there. And in this case, make any other changes. So in this one, I do want to do end user monitoring. In this example, I want to show what the performance is like in different locations around the world. That's why I chose this one. But in my case, my location, sorry about the background noise there. In this case, we don't have our point of presence in France, but we do have it in the UK. So let's just move those widgets and just change it. So make any changes that you want to your dashboard. Okay. Once you're happy with the layout, the changes, as many as you need to do, then we'll just save that, give it a new name. So let's just call it MH for microhomes. Okay. So we've saved the changes, pretty simple, and Business Value Dashboard needs to work with an SVG format file, not with a standard Visio file. So we can export that. We could do a more complex save as Visio format, SVG format, but here I've got a button that's an add-in or an add-on from I downloaded from the Business Value Dashboard resources menu. In the Business Value Dashboard GUI. So if you just click that, it selects everything in the page and saves that as an SVG file. So if we go to have a look at that, that was the Visio file we just saved. And when we did that one click, we now have an SVG file, same location, with the same portion of the file name. So this is the file we're going to upload into Business Value Dashboard. And so you log into Business Value Dashboard, and which I've already done here. And all we need to do is upload that dashboard. So we'll go into the dashboard management area. We're going to add a new dashboard. And we'll just pick that Visio file, that SVG file that we just saved a second ago and bring that in. Okay. So same look and feel, exactly the same as we had in Visio itself, but now the widgets are here highlighted saying, well, the widgets are driven by data that's sent to them. And so I'm already sending data, I just need to present it in the dashboard. And so we need to connect them together. So in the case here, I'll pick the USA response time, and I need to find which data channel. I can scroll through the list, or I know that I have a data channel that's to do with Microhome's web channel. And when you mouse over it, you get an idea on the tooltip of what are the names of all of the the metrics, their latest values, and most importantly also how long ago, how fresh that data is. So we know that data is being pumped through. It's a reassuring thing. The metric we want to choose from that channel corresponds with, we want USA response time, so that'll be the one we pick. And you can control the number format. So for response time, I don't want to show every decimal point, so I'll just say I want just 1 decimal point, and we won't bother changing anything else. So at this point, I've got one widget bound to data that's coming in to a particular metric in a data channel. You would apply the rest here, do the same thing again for all of the others. So you've got rid of all the triangles. For the time being, we'll just leave that as it is, and we'll just save that to have a look at the end result. Now, to see the dashboards, let's go look at the dashboard that we just uploaded and bound. And clearly I didn't do that properly, did I? But I can go back and change it. But anyway, I didn't. I must have typed in something wrongly. I wasn't looking closely at it. But you see the data is being updated here. But the main thing at the moment is you've got that same look and feel that you only spent a short time on, or in this session we only spent a very short time customizing the layout, the color scheme, minimal change to get your end result. So you're up and running a lot faster. Here's one that I created earlier, which is basically the same thing, but I connected all of the data channels to the widgets. And by the way, that's just a one-time operation, because if I were to go back and change that Visio, I decide, I want a different look and feel, or I want to change the layout or whatever, then all you need to do is then just simply upload that SVG back into this same dashboard. All these bindings are preserved. So you're really only just connecting the widgets to the data one time only. And that's your end result. So thank you very much.
Great. Is that it for the Micro Focus team? If it is, I think we'll move on to Bob Jensen to kind of talk about what they're showing with the integration points. But thanks to the quick update for Micro Focus, I know it was much shorter than we probably needed to get through a lot of the product. You got your screen up, so we're good.